General Motors just pulled the plug on two of the most beloved V8 engines this country has ever put in a pickup truck. The 5.3 and the 6.2 are done, gone for good. 600,000 trucks were recalled, engines tore themselves apart at highway speed, and owners faced repair bills reaching $14,000. GM stayed quiet. Investigators opened cases. Lawsuits piled up. And now, GM has rolled out two brand new engines to replace them. What they built is either the most impressive turnaround in truck history or the riskiest bet GM has made in decades. Let's get into it. Start with the 5.3-liter V8, the L84. For over a decade, this was GM's top-selling truck engine, powering the Silverado, Sierra, Tahoe, Suburban, and Yukon. Rated at 355 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque, then GM bolted on one new system that turned this rock-solid engine into one of the priciest engines to own in the country. That system is Dynamic Fuel Management, or DFM. While cruising on level ground, DFM shuts off cylinders to save fuel. Instead of all 8 firing, you might be running on 4, 3, or just 1. GM engineered 17 separate firing patterns, down to a single cylinder. On paper, it sounds smart. In practice, it hasn't worked. The small components running it wear out fast, and when they fail, the bill will stop you cold. Those components are lifters, and each time the engine shifts cylinder counts, they move thousands of times a day, wearing down, seizing up, and collapsing. Once a lifter fails, it bends the push rod above it. That rod slams into the rocker arm, metal shatters, and debris circulates through the oil. In the worst cases, a valve drops into the cylinder and takes the piston with it. A dealership repair starts at $3,000. A wrecked camshaft pushes that to $8,000, and a full swap runs $14,000. Quietly, GM pulled DFM from 2026 engines. And when a manufacturer removes a feature without a word to the public, that tells you how well it worked. The 5.3's problems are small next to the 6.2, GM's crown jewel, and what happened next made national headlines. That's the 6.2-liter V8. The L87, GM's flagship, offered in the Silverado, Sierra, Tahoe, Suburban, Yukon, and Escalade for a premium. 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. In April of 2025, GM issued a recall covering 600,000 vehicles. Not 6,000, 600,000. Technicians found 2 manufacturing defects, both traced to the factory floor. First, leftover debris sat on connecting rods and oil passages, never fully cleaned during assembly. Second, the crankshafts were built to incorrect dimensions. The supplier delivered wrong measurements and a rough surface finish. Combine debris on the rods with an out-of-spec crankshaft, and the bearings can't get proper oil flow. They fail. And once a connecting rod bearing gives out, the rod punches straight through the block. The repair costs are brutal. Mechanics who tore into failed engines found oil turned completely black, a sign it ran so hot the oil burned. Connecting rods were destroyed, and block walls showed clear impact damage. Before the recall, GM's fix was switching to thicker oil, plus a new filter and cap. 36 owners filed complaints after engines failed again following that fix. In January of 2026, investigators opened a new case to find out why. And as of June 2026, that investigation remains open. You paid $55,000 to $85,000 for a truck with this engine. GM's recall fix cost roughly $47 per vehicle. Your replacement runs $14,000 and climbing. One Sierra owner said it feels like a cheap patch on a $75,000 truck. 2 engines, same story. Cylinder deactivation wrecking lifters, connecting rods breaking through blocks, and fixes that fixed nothing. GM had no option but to start from scratch. So, what did they build? First is the Gen 6 5.7-liter V8, stepping in for the 5.3. It debuts on the 2027 Silverado 1500 and Sierra 1500, with production starting at Fort Wayne Assembly in October of 2026. Almost nothing carries over from the old 5.3. This is a ground-up redesign. New block, new castings, essentially new everything. The most obvious change is displacement, up from 5.3 to 5.7 liters, meaning less strain and less wear over time. Early estimates put output around 400 horsepower, roughly 45 more than the outgoing 5.3, though GM hasn't confirmed final figures. The new engine also introduces dual fuel injection, both direct and port injection working together, which should eliminate those $1,200 carbon cleaning bills that used to show up every 60,000 miles. The biggest shift isn't the size or the horsepower, though. It's happening behind the scenes. GM is pulling production of critical components away from outside suppliers and bringing it in-house. Remember the crankshaft defect behind the 6.2 recall? Those parts came from an outside vendor with limited quality control. Now GM makes the parts themselves. Fuel economy should improve 4 to 6% over today's 5.3. The cylinder deactivation system that destroyed lifters has been completely re-engineered, with GM eliminating the setup that caused failures as early as 5,000 miles. Here's the honest question. Is this new engine truly fixed, or just a bigger version of the same problems? The old 5.3 without DFM was a genuinely solid engine, reaching 200,000 miles without trouble. The new 5.7 needs to match that. But right now, there's no real-world data. Owners won't get their hands on these engines until early 2027. The second replacement carries even more weight because the engine it's replacing is still under investigation today. That's the Gen 6 6-liter V8, taking over for the 6.2, sharing the same platform as the new 5.7. Internally, GM is calling this their trust recovery program. They know what the 6.2 disaster did to their reputation, and they know buyers walked away from 2026 orders because of it. The 6.6 features redesigned oil passages, larger and better filtered, so oil reaches the bearings faster. There's a new connecting rod and crankshaft setup, built to tighter tolerances, a direct response to the out-of-spec crankshafts that caused rods to punch through blocks. GM is now producing these components in-house, with stricter inspection at every stage. Early projections put output around 475 horsepower, about 55 more than the outgoing 6.2. GM has described this engine internally as their single most important product for rebuilding trust in years. They know that if it fails like the 6.2 did, they're finished in the premium truck market. Ram and Ford will scoop up those buyers for good. That pressure works in your favor as a shopper. Analysts largely agree that GM made all the right changes here. In-house production solves the supplier quality issue, and tighter tolerances tackle the connecting rod breakdowns. But none of this is proven yet. Real testing only starts once owners rack up real miles in 2027. So here's the only question that matters. Is this good news for you or not? Let's skip the sales pitch. The 5.3-liter L84 running DFM had a 16% engine problem rate by 120,000 miles, the worst failure rate of any American V8 in the last 20 years. The new 5.7 removes that exact system, and that is real progress. But history tells us something about brand new first-year engines. They function as beta tests. Early buyers find the problems. Manufacturers fix them, and later owners reap the benefits. For anyone who needs a dependable truck for work or towing, being the test subject on a $75,000 vehicle is a gamble that's tough to justify. Here's the most sensible move right now. If you need a new GM truck today, go with the final model year of the engine you already know. A 2026 Silverado or Sierra with the 5.3 minus DFM is a safer bet than an unproven 2027 engine. If you can wait, keep an eye on the first 12 months of owner reports from 2027. Watch complaint filings and see what independent mechanics report. If the 5.7 and 6.6 can hit 50,000 miles without repeating past failures, they'll be worth serious consideration. GM clearly has the right design philosophy and the right quality control changes in place. The real question now is execution. The 5.3 and 6.2 are being retired because they let too many owners down too many times. Their replacements could genuinely turn things around. But the only people who truly know that for certain are the first wave of 2027 owners putting real miles behind the wheel. Let them work out the kinks first, then buy with real confidence.